Hey everyone, let's hit pause on the endless political screaming matches for a minute. Seriously, I'm tired, you're probably tired. So instead, let's just play observer. Let's look at something quietly happening over in China, not the loud stuff, something deeper, and honestly, pretty interesting. Your brain probably goes straight to Beijing, Shanghai, or Shenzhen, right? But here's the thing, there's one city that isn't the loudest on China's tech map. But the hard tech power growing there, it's spreading at a crazy speed and density, totally under the radar. That place is Nanjing. Yeah, you heard me? The same Nanjing known for the Qinhuai River and all that Republican era history. But forget the past for now. Let's look at the present. Nanjing isn't just about traditional research labs. What's wild is they've built their own unique innovation ecosystem. Totally different from Beijing's state-owned enterprise model or Shenzhen's Huawei Tencent domination. So what have they actually done? They turned mobile charging robots into invisible market champions, made amphibious drones into actual life-saving tools, and used acoustic AI to fill technical gaps in the power grid that nobody else could solve. If you zoom into Nanjing's Jianye district, what they call their innovation highland, you'll find a formula made of patient capital precision scenarios and a full chain ecosystem. This episode, I'm breaking that formula down, not to hype them up, believe me, but to understand their playbook, because only then do we know where the hell we stand in this world first. The jungle law of hard tech from single point breakthroughs to ecosystem. Boom. China's hard tech company map used to be all about big and broad. But Nanjing plays a different game. Their hard tech scene is multi-point and deep-rooted. What does that mean? These companies don't chase size. They hide in super vertical, super boring niche lanes, grind for years on technical work, and then, bam, they become irreplaceable. The classic example is Tech Robotics, based in Nanjing's Yuhuatai district. This company was founded in 2011. Guess what they started with? Not EV hype, not AI buzzwords. Their original goal was to make special operation robots for tough industrial environments. Sounds boring as hell, right? But for over 10 years, they dug deep into oil, chemicals, mines, power plants, really harsh places. They pushed rail-mounted and wheeled special robots to the absolute limit in reliability and environmental toughness. That deep technical foundation became their killer advantage when they later jumped into the red-hot mobile charging market. When China's EV market exploded, the gap between charging demand and limited parking space got brutal. Tech's innovation logic was super direct. How do you make charging more flexible without taking up extra space? Their answer was simple: marry their best-in-class rail robot tech directly with charging stations. And that's how the T-Charge Rail mounted mobile charging robot was born. Here's how it works. Rails cover rows of parking spots. You scan a code with your phone, the robot slides over, charges your car, and then tucks itself away. Zero ground space taken. Even harder core. It also has AI multimodal detection that monitors early overheating risks in EVs while charging. Blending security patrol with charging infrastructure. This highly integrated system means tech isn't just charging cars. They're selling a smart energy security system. And because of that, in just 1 year, by 2025, they rolled out over 100 sites across China, grabbing the #1 spot nationwide. Why did they win? Simple. Their success comes from deep tech dominance. They used industrial-grade reliability to play in the consumer market. Their starting line and competition bar were never the same as everyone else's. Second example, and this one's even more interesting. Unlike TS Tech Extension Path, Kaishanyan Drone. Born in Jianye High-Tech Zone, shows something else, original tech meeting a blue ocean market. This team, young PhDs and masters from Tsinghua and Nanjing University, spotted a real market blind spot. What blind spot? Water and air rescue. Think about it. Someone falls into the water. Rescue boats, at least 10 to 15 minutes to get there, but Kaishanyan built a flying life ring that autonomously flies and drops precisely. Launched from a shore-based dock, it reaches the victim in just tens of seconds. China calls it a life-saving miracle. Honestly, that's not an exaggeration. And they didn't stop there. They expanded into amphibious drone ships, smart buoys, covering all complex water scenarios, flood control, maritime, emergency response, full coverage. The key takeaway here: scenario focus and fusion innovation. Kaishanyan didn't chase the hottest, most crowded consumer drone market. Instead, they locked their elite research and development in fluid mechanics and smart control onto an underserved but critical need: smart water rescue. While most Chinese firms are bleeding out in the land or air-red ocean, Yan owns the water-air synergy lane. That's a smart play. And then there's Saturn World, also from Nanjing's university system. They reached into AIS Next Frontier Sound. Their core team, acoustics graduates from Nanjing University, chose an even narrower, even stranger path, acoustic AI. Here's why that matters. Acoustic detection is a non-contact, non-destructive diagnostic tool, but analyzing sound data has long relied on old-timer experience, really hard to standardize. Saturn World applied AI models to acoustic signal recognition. For example, reading a wind turbine blade's breath to diagnose internal damage, or catching early equipment failure through abnormal sounds. Even cooler, they achieved a homegrown replacement for underwater sonar tech, breaking the long monopoly of Europe, Japan, and the US. They applied voice-print AI models to diagnose internal wind turbine blade damage, something that was a global industry blank spot until now. So let's sum up these three companies: tech robotics, industrial tech scenario transplantation, Yan. Cross-domain fusion innovation, Saturn World, deep commercialization of basic research. Different paths, same core, all rooted in Nanjing's rich research soil. They dominate a super-specific niche and successfully nail that last mile from lab to real-world use. They're not Tencent or Alibaba-sized giants. But in their own lanes, they're indispensable chain leaders and hidden champions. That model is worth thinking hard about. Second, patient capital, be a long-distance runner, not a sprinter. All right? So after all these success stories, you're definitely asking, where the hell does the money come from? Hard tech takes years to cook. Who funds that? You hit the key question. Every hard tech company's growth faces this, especially when research and development cycles are long and the path to commercialization is fuzzy. What kind of capital actually sticks around Nanjing, especially Jianye District, has an answer, and they call it patient capital. This is a really interesting term. It's totally different from the quick in, quick out VC we know in the US. Look at tech robotics, grinding for 10 years in industrial tech behind them. There had to be capital that didn't rush them. And Yan as a student startup. They got fast district level support, fund matching, and open scenarios. That tells you how this ecosystem embraces early founders. But the most convincing example is Saturn World. This acoustic AI company has raised multiple rounds, with a total accumulated amount of over 900 million new Taiwan dollars. Let me put that in US dollars. Roughly 30 million US dollars. Now look closely at their funding path. You'll see a very clear structure. Local public capital leads the way, and then market-based professional institutions follow, starting from their angel round in 2019. Bangshan Capital, a hard tech investment firm with provincial government backing, based right in Jianye, was their first supporter, and they kept adding more. But here's the key. Bangshan didn't just write checks. What did they do? Their own people say. Our investment is not just capital support. More importantly, it's post-investment services and industry resource matching. As a deep companion, they help map out tech roadmaps, optimize management structures, and use their government background and local networks to connect Saturn World with industry giants in power transport and other fields, directly opening doors to markets and real-world applications. You could say Bangshan is both their strategic shareholder and their market expansion partner. That model is really interesting after Bangshan took the lead and kept investing, proving the project's stability, and potential outside market VCs like Daoshan Capital from Hangzhou and Kaifeng Capital from Shanghai felt confident enough to come in. That's the Nanjing-style patient capital system, public money as the foundation, market money following, and the founders feel this directly. Saturn World's founder said something I think is spot on. He said, "What we need isn't fast money. It's patient capital acoustic technology from research and development to product to validation. Takes forever. Hot money and speculative capital chase short-term returns. Once they hit short-term resistance, they pull out. That kills technology that needs long-term iteration. But patient capital like Bangshan tolerates longer return cycles. Their investment decisions are based on technical value and team potential. That lets companies focus on core technology instead of chasing short-term market hype to survive. And Jianye's Jianyuzui Fund District is exactly where this patient capital gathers. This is China's first fund theme district. It has nearly 600 private funds managing a total scale of over 30 billion US dollars. But here's what matters more. It's not just a money warehouse. They've built a complete ecosystem. Fund cluster plus roadshow center plus tech business school. It solves not just where does money come from, but also how do you invest right, invest deep, and invest long. It's like fertile soil. It prioritizes those hardcore seeds with real core tech and gives them enough time to grow into giant trees. Third, scenario innovation and industry ecosystem, from giving subsidies to giving opportunities. All right? So patient capital gives hard tech its backbone, but the diverse high-end application scenarios that Nanjing provides, that's the accelerator from lab to market. And there's a really important mindset shift here. The Chinese government's role is moving from just being a policy issuer and subsidy giver to being an open scenario provider and co-innovation partner. Traditional company support, we all know it, rent cuts, tax rebates, one-time rewards, sure, those matter. But for hard tech companies that need the real world to sharpen their products, a real complex high standard external demand scenario is way more valuable than just cash. Why? Because a real scenario gives you three things: a testing ground for technical validation, a reference for product iteration, and a credibility stamp. Take Jianye District as an example. On average, they release over 100 digital economy and hard tech application scenario lists every year. Over the past 3 years, that adds up to more than 360 scenarios and thousands of specific cooperation needs, covering urban management, smart transport, emergency response, healthcare, and over 10 other major fields. And here's the key: these scenarios aren't made up behind closed doors. They come from real pain points in city operations and government management. For hard tech companies, this is like having an open air lab. When Kaishanyan brought their flying life ring to Nanjing's water rescue authorities, what did they face? Real wind and waves on the Yangtze River, complex monsoon currents. In live rescue drills and government procurement trials, your product strengths, weaknesses, and needed fixes get exposed immediately because they passed that brutal real-world test. The product rolled out nationwide. That's the classic government sets the stage and asks the questions, companies deliver the answers. And even deeper than that is the synergy of the entire industry ecosystem. Nanjing, especially Jianye, isn't building this from scratch. They've got a huge industrial base. Of China's top 20 internet companies, 14 have set up regional headquarters here, driving a massive ecosystem. Nearly 60 provincial level, specialized and sophisticated little giant companies are gathered here too. Software, it, and finance are their strengths. That creates a hell of a virtuous cycle. Digital upgrades in traditional industries give hard tech companies rich application soil, and hard tech's cutting edge technology in turn boosts efficiency and competitiveness in those traditional industries. Take Nanjing's power manufacturing and transport sectors. As they transform, they actively seek out local hard tech partners. For example, bringing Saturn World's voice print detection into wind turbine maintenance or text inspection robots into chemical plant safety. This kind of homegrown demand means hard tech innovation isn't an isolated lab island, it's plugged directly into the real industrial pulse. Fourth, the catalyst for mine productivity, decoding the OPC ecosystem. Looking to the future, Nanjing shows some pretty forward-thinking insight. A concept called OPC is becoming the core of cultivating what they call mine productivity, especially in Jianye District. So what the hell is OPC? OPC is a new organizational form. You can think of it as super individuals or digital partner teams, using big data, AI, and other advanced tools. They can participate in complex creative collaboration in a flexible, lightweight way. It represents a possible future of new production relations. Nationwide in China, the total number of OPCs has already exceeded 16 million. Every region is racing to build them out. And Nanjing Jianye is grabbing this trend, making the OPC ecosystem the next important piece of their hard tech cultivation. Their logic is super clear. Build a precision layered ecosystem so different types of OPCs can find room to grow. Let me walk you through the 4 layers. First, the tech support layer. The high tech zone focuses on AI plus hard tech. They provide powerful computing infrastructure, large model training and applications, and specialized technical support services. Think of it as a hard tech accelerator. OPCs can use top-tier computing power at low cost and high efficiency, turning crazy ideas into product prototypes fast. Second, the capital empowerment layer. That's the Jinyuzui Fund District. Even though OPSCs are lightweight, good ideas still need startup capital and ongoing support. Jinyuzui sets up seed funds and angel funds and works with partners like Bangshen Capital to design financing that fits OPC growth stages. This frees talented individuals or small teams from early funding hell. Third, the application layer, specialized industry parks. The core here is scenario matching. Jianye actively opens up its rich industry resources, offering policy support, rent-free space, and direct scenario matchmaking. For example, An OPC building AI design tools for construction can quickly find local top construction firms for co-creation and pilot projects. Fourth, the resource empowerment layer, specialized platforms like the Magic Academy OP community. Leveraging Nanjing's advantage in software and its services, they provide full support, talent matching, IP services, marketing, you name it. This isn't just a physical space. It's a digital community where resources flow and collaboration sparks. The biggest advantage of this system is ecosystem synergy. An OPC might get inspiration and talent from the Magic Academy, rent computing power in the high-tech zone, land their first angel investment at Jinyu Zui, and finally apply their product to real finance or transport scenarios inside a Jianye Park. All steps complete within one closed loop. That forms a value flywheel where data feeds tech empowers scenarios, and scenarios return data. It keeps lowering hard tech's innovation barriers and trial costs. Conclusion, Nanjing's hard tech rise. So let's wrap this up. Looking across Nanjing's hard tech rise, they aren't simply copying Shenzhen's or Beijing's success models. They've formed a deep, self-consistent internal logic. First, patient capital gives innovators time security. They don't have to chase short-term wins just to survive. Second, rich scenarios give innovators a battlefield admission ticket. Real-world problems sharpen their technology. Third, an open ecosystem builds a sustainable jungle where both small and large companies can find their place. This combo hits exactly what hard tech needs: long cycles, high upfront costs, and real feedback for iteration. Nanjing, especially innovation hubs like Jianye District, has shifted from the old mindset of one-way policy support, attracting investment, and propping up big companies to building a symbiotic innovation ecosystem. Here, small companies have room to grow into hidden champions. Big institutions can find external tech solutions to drive their own transformation. Research talent can see a clear path to commercialization. Why does Nanjing's hard tech cluster so densely? Maybe the most fundamental thing they did right wasn't chasing any single trend. It was learning how to carefully irrigate innovation soil, letting capital, technology, talent, and markets meet, collide, and fuse there. And from that, a prosperous and tough tech jungle naturally grows. What will this jungle look like in the future? Will it go toe-to-toe with Silicon Valley? Or walk its own path? I don't know, but it's absolutely worth us continuing to watch. All right, that's it for this episode. Thanks to all of you for watching. If you got something out of this, please do me a favor. Hit like, subscribe to the channel, share this around, support the show. I really appreciate you all.